How do I get this whole thing in there? Like that? Uh-oh. I knew that was gonna happen. Like that? Like this? Hey, wait, that's like pretty close to my old angle. Why haven't I been doing this the whole time? Ugh. Stupid. Okay. Oh, that's way better. Oh. Oh. Anyways, good morning, everybody. Hello, Dar. I was only supposed to be here for 2 days, so I'm running out of clothes, guys. I'm running out of clothes. I might have to do laundry here. Isn't that weird? I'm gonna go ahead and open things up with love letters. Taking senior pics right now? Dar? Is that a thing right now? Well, word up, Dar. Good luck with your senior photos. That's wild, Dar. Well, I didn't even think about the fact that there's no barber, Dar. Good morning, Eusaria. Welcome to the stream. And goodbye, Dar. Thank you for being in the stream. Good morning, Biz. I hope you're all having a swell Thursday today. I hope it is swell. my god, that's good. That's good. If it doesn't get to that part until the second run through, it has way more dynamics. Crap. Okay. Thank you, Ava, and thank you for being here, also, Ava. Ava's eating steak again. What? Eating steak. Word up. Word up. Um. Okay, so good morning, Kiwi. Good morning, anybody who I may have missed coming into the stream. Lindsay says that they haven't seen this shirt yet before. Well, I don't really wear it that much anymore. This is more like an out. This is this is not a shirt that I would sleep in, Lindsay. This shirt was not cheap, and it's made out of a weird material that I feel like it's gonna get like stains on it that don't come out. So I very rarely wear it. But I brought it here to Arizona because I was like, well, I'm in Arizona. I might I might run into somebody, right? I might run into my old boss. I might run into like an ex or something. If I run into an ex, I want them to know that like I can afford Real Akuma, that I'm all right. Don't worry about me. Anyways, I haven't run into anybody, and I'm officially out of clothes, so I'm digging into the dress to impress shirts now, I guess. Is this a new song you're working on, says Usaria? Yes. Yes is the answer to that question, Usaria. I've been working on it for a few streams now, but I did just add a new bit on accident. I hate how much of my really good stuff is accidents, but yeah. Yeah, Uniqlo is constantly having sales on shirts, but right now is a particularly good time to get shirts from Uniqlo because they're trying to get rid of a lot of their old graphic collaborations. So if you want like a Gundam T-shirt or a Dragon Ball T-shirt or a Pokemon T-shirt or I mean any of their collaborations, those shirts are all $5 right now. This is not a Uniqlo commercial, but I was hitting, and then instead of going down there, I went here, which was a wrong note, but I can do stuff with that. I'm sure the average person has a good grasp of Real Akuma merch prices. Maybe, huh? They're not cheap. They're not cheap. But that being said, I'm not like a hype beast. I didn't pay like a lot for this shirt. I just paid more than a T-shirt should ever cost. I think all over print stuff is like pretty cheap also. Oh, okay, word up. It's a joke. I didn't get the joke. I'm sorry, Lindsay. I was like, for real, Lindsay? Yeah, no one's gonna be impressed with this shirt. I think somebody's gonna see this shirt and unless they're a weeb or unless they know what like Real Akuma and like Sanrio and all that stuff is, they're just gonna assume weird cartoon. Maybe I got it from Kohl's or something. It's like when I wear my Oswald shirts. Like I have that Oswald sweater that's like off white. That has the Oswald logo. I love that sweater. It's so important to me, and unfortunately, I think I might have stained it, guys. I actually don't want to talk about it anymore. Now I'm upset. But I have an Oswald hoodie that like I like wearing out. I have that Oswald T-shirt. I love wearing those things out, but I also know that people do not know what Oswald the Lucky Rabbit is. So people probably just look at that shirt at a glance and go, "Oh, Mickey Mouse probably hit up the Disney store at the mall." It's like, nah, man, you can't even buy that here. You can't even get that in the States. Um, yes, the one that you drew, Lindsay. Someone at work was talking about eating bugs and how that could be an alternative to meat, and it's more environmentally sustainable, says Diz. It is more environmentally sustainable, but too many bug. Too many bug to make me full. Too many bug. If roaches were huge and I could eat like a roach leg, I know, guys, I know it's not great conversation, but if a roach was really big and they were like farmed and I could eat roach leg, and it would like fill me up for an entire, I don't know, 8 hours, that would be pretty cool. But I'm not gonna like pour a bunch of roaches into a pot and stir it up and eat that. Plus, I feel like as far as like eating bugs, that's what I feel like lobster and crab are. Like people that eat like crabs or lobsters or shrimp and stuff like that, I feel like you're already eating bugs. So maybe everybody can just they're called lobster, says Alpha. Yeah, me and Alpha, me and Alpha the same. Um, Cricket, chocolate bar, that's you. Yeah, a lot of people in Arizona love those things. Chocolate covered crickets is a thing. Or getting like the little sucker that has the cricket in it. Yeah, that's a thing. Eating scorpion, eating spiders. Okay, I had a boss that called lobsters strip the roaches of the sea. Well, they are, and so your boss is in tune with the earth, I guess. Lobsters and roaches are basically aquatic roaches. Yes, Alpha. Yes. Yeah, your boss was right. And then restart the cycle. Okay. It sounds less like a game show now, so I'm pleased. Um, Word up. Fleas are pests. Shrimp are tasty, says Diz. How could they be LOL? And why would you eat one? Hmm. Um, I think all crustaceans are gross, says Lindsay. I also do. And I understand that my thinking they're gross is based off of like really like not I think that they're gross because they're hideous. They have a bunch of legs. They're bugs, and like I don't want to eat a bug regardless of the size. If at some point cows were bugs, I don't know that I would really want to eat a cow either. Because I don't think I make my dietary choices based off of how environmentally sustainable they are. I don't think most people do, but I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think that's really cool and conscious if you do that. But yeah, crustaceans are bugs. I'm not saying people shouldn't eat bugs because we do, because people eat crustaceans. Why would we eat shrimp? Says Alpha. Light? All right. My whole thing. I'm not from an island, right? I was born here, in the state that this stream is coming from. I was born in Arizona, so I was landlocked. So a lot of like island things, like I understand if you grow up on an island or if you're people that lived on an island, it's more sustainable to pull food out of the ocean to eat. I get that. And so that's not limited to just, like marlins or whatever. Like you kind of have to eat maybe some seaweed or some crabs, some bugs. I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. I'm just saying I personally don't want to eat bug. Hmm. The red dye in red velvet is made out of bugs. Yes, yes. I didn't actually. I didn't do any research on that. I think I just read that somewhere and I was like, oh, no way. Good thing I don't eat that. I don't understand what red velvet cake is supposed to be. Is it chocolate? What is that? What? Anyways, I don't eat it. I actually don't like cake, so it's also a thing that's like outside of my interests, I suppose. I think we have evolved past the point of eating bugs, says Diz. I think we have not. I think we have not. There's a restaurant called Red Lobster. Oh, are you saying we shouldn't have to eat them anymore? I get you if that's what you're saying. Like we shouldn't have to do that. We shouldn't have to do that. Well, there's a lot of things I feel like. I, for example, and I've said this in the stream before, I think that we have evolved past the point of needing to ride horses. But people love riding horses. They just have to get on a horse. They love riding horses. It like bothers me. Anyways, Zephyr says, Are you saying lobster is a bug? Zeph, did you just come into the stream? Good morning, Zeph, by the way. Thank you for being here. Hope you're doing okay. This is a Uniqlo and Red Lobster sponsored stream. Ooh. I wish I was wearing some Uniqlo clothes. Do I not actually have any? Oh. Hmm. Oh, no, I do. I do. I was about to say, this is a very rare stream during which I have 0 Uniqlo articles of clothing, but I do have some easy shorts. Hey, what's up, Soggy Wheat Bread? Good morning to you. But yeah, I don't think that we should be riding horses anymore, but people still do it, so. In fact, people who love horses get really angry when I imply that we shouldn't be riding them anymore. I'm like, I don't know if you should be riding horses. And they're like, my horse is the happiest animal in the world. They're way happier here with me riding on them than they would be out. Like, I'm not. I don't want to get in an argument with horse people, but I do think that we shouldn't be riding horses anymore. Like that. I don't think the horse. I don't think the horse wants to be ridden. I'm gonna make that's a hot take. I don't think horses like when people climb onto them. Okay, I can see how one could draw those parallels about crustaceans and insects, but they are different species, says Diz. Okay. I hear you, Diz. I hear you, Diz. But I think that when a lot of people, here's the thing, Diz. I think that when people are calling like shrimp bugs of the sea, no one is going by specific like scientific like species classes that were man-made. I think people are looking at it and they're going, that looks like a bug. And the same way that somebody can look at like a scorpion and go, ew, a bug, and somebody go, actually, it's an arachnid. It's in the spider family. It's not like a roach. Count its legs. It's like, I don't care how many legs it has, dude. That's a freaking bug. So I understand what you're saying, Diz. I'm just saying people that say like shrimp or bugs and stuff like that aren't necessarily looking at like entomology or anything like that. They're just kind of they're going, yo, that's a bug. That's a bug. And for example, if you're afraid of bugs, I don't know if you're making that distinction. People think whatever, regardless. Okay, my neighbors ride by on their horses like every day. I had a friend who talked about horseback riding to me recently, and I also, right now, since I'm in Arizona, my dad was looking at the rodeo, where it's just like a bunch of people riding horses around barrels and hog tying things and getting on a bull and pissing the bull off. It's just like a lot. I don't know. I don't know. I think just, I don't know, leave horses alone. I totally get, like, I'm not saying horses should have never been ridden, and I think there are a lot of cultures where horses are still very, very useful and should be used. Should maybe is a weird word, but, like, they're an integral part of industry, right? Like, horses are transportation. Horses do this. Like, we need this animal to plow the fields. It just makes things easier for us because we don't have the manpower to do it. I totally get that. I'm more so talking about, like, homegirl who has like a car and drives her car to where the horses are and then hops on a horse and like rides it around a trail. I'm like, what's that? What are we doing there exactly? You just went from like 250 horsepower to 1 horsepower just to like ride around the dirt. Poor guy. The guy being a horse. And I don't think they care about being on top of, but I think they get pretty annoyed being moved around a lot, says Alpha. They're much bigger than I realize, and I don't think they care being. They do, Alpha. I think, here's the thing, I think you can break a horse. It's literally the terminology, breaking a horse in, or breaking a horse's neck. I'm not making up these things. These are actual, like, breaking a horse's neck so that it can, like, steer better. Like, if you, like, break a horse, then, like, it'll kind of let you do whatever you want to it. I mean, you can kind of do the same thing to humans, but that puts the conversation in a really dark position, so I'm not going to go there. But Yeah, like if you those horses, I'm sure they don't really mind being climbed up on, but that's just because they've been conditioned to do that. Like if you go to a horse in the wild and you try to climb on that thing, like um, God help you. God help you. Yeah, I'm with Leon. I feel like it did used to be necessary, and in some cultures, again, I feel like I do have to say this. In some cultures, it still is very necessary to ride animals because they just don't have, an alternative. But I feel like once the bicycle was invented, I don't know when that was. I haven't done due diligence research on this, but whenever the bicycle was invented, I feel like people probably should have been like, maybe the horse's days as a mode of transportation are limited. And then when they got the car, I think they would have been like, oh yeah, get horses out of here. Mm. Why did the pioneers even ride horses? They could have gone so much faster if they would have drove cars, says Diz, laughing. Why are horse carriages in DC and New York still a thing? Because the romanticization, right? The people that get in like the horse and buggy around like Central Park on a date. What's wrong with those people? Also, it doesn't smell great. Riding behind the like draft of a horse can't make it smell good. Anywho, like the horse carriages, yeah, the horse drawn carriages suck, says Lindsay. Yeah, not a fan, says me. Ew, gross. I think I love riding bikes. I would I would say I like riding bikes more than I like riding driving cars because I love feeling like connected to the environment around me and being able to make like last minute decisions and fit into small spaces. Makes me feel cool. But I don't know. I'm not getting on a horse. I knew a girl, says Zeph, who used a horseback ride in middle school. Who used to horseback ride in middle school. I never knew she had a wig till this kid pulled it off her head. And that's the coolest story ever. It started one way and it ended somewhere completely different. I like the way bikes look, but I don't know how to ride them, says Kiwi. It's not so hard. I taught myself how to ride a bike. Oh, I can remember it so clearly, too, because it wasn't that far from here. I remember teaching myself how to ride a bike. Good stuff, great stuff. Um, wow. It wasn't actually until I looked at TV when, there's like the TV training wheels, and then there's like the dad who's like got his hand on the back of the seat, and he's like, "Go on, honey, you can do it." And she's like, Dad, did you let go? And he's like, "You're doing it. You're riding it on." Like I didn't have one of those moments. There was a slope in the background of the background behind the apartment complex I used to live in, and I think I was on my sister's bike, Candace's bike, and there was a slope. So what I used to do when me and like my little sister and her friend, and I had a friend too, but I can't even remember his face. So screw that guy. I'm gonna delete him from the story. So me and my little sister and her friend are hanging out, and just when we were like talking and just like wasting time as kids do, I would like ride down the slope with my feet dragging on the ground, or just like like walking with the bike. And eventually I started like kicking myself and seeing like how long I could like go without falling over. And then that just turned into riding a bike. I was like, oh, it's just a balance thing. It's not that hard. Like if you can balance and stay straight up, then all you have to do is like pedal. The pedaling's the easy part. And that's how I taught myself how to ride a bike. Rode a horse when I went to Costa Rica years ago, says Usaria. Interesting. Costa Rica. Never been. Never been to Costa Rica. I only hear about people going there. I never hear about people coming from there or moving to there. Seems like it's more of like a vacation destination, or at least it's existed that way in my knowledge of the place. All right. Wild. Fascinating. Truly fascinating. bought me the cheapest bike you could possibly find and would push me off and say pedal, and I fell off every single time for like a whole day. When I went back to my mom's, I forgot she bought me a nice bike, and one day I got on it and could just ride like it was nothing. Very interesting. I love hearing stories about how people learned how to ride a bike because the more people I ask, the more I'm realizing it wasn't, the typical TV story of like training wheels, not having the training wheels just taken off one day. Euseria says it was fun, but I don't think I would do it again, talking about horseback riding in Costa Rica. Hmm. If you ride horses, you wear a wig. Oh. Oh, that's good. That's a good tweet. That's a good tweet. That would have been a good tweet in the before times, Zeph. If you ride horses, you wear a wig. Also, that's how her story ended, as if she died on the spot. I love that. That's how her story ended. We never got an update from Wig Horse Girl. Let's talk about how useless motorcycles are. Oh, I hate them, says Alpha. Okay, alright, Alpha. Alright. Let's just calm down. Now we're saying some pretty wild things. My ex broke up with me for I'm not gonna say which one, but two of them. I'm not gonna say which ones. Broke up with me for somebody who rode a motorcycle. And I have been trying every day to look at motorcycles and not get mad. So I don't feel like I have the right emotional equipment to join in on this what seems to be a very, very nice and enlightening conversation about motorcycles and their utility in society. I am not in a place where I can give you guys a cool opinion on motorcycles. I think that some of them are loud and obnoxiously so. And everything else, I don't know. I'm sorry. I never heard anything about her after that. She really became known for that ever since. That's the end of her story, yeah. Wait, girl. Every person I've known with a motorcycle has crashed. Well, this is also true for me, Alpha. Although a lot of them are still alive. My dad being one of them. My dad had a motorcycle accident, and he's all right. He's not riding a motorcycle anymore, though. That's for sure. If it makes you feel any better, motorcycles have a much higher mortality rate. That does make me feel a little bit better, Liana. It's dark, but it's comforting. You know how to make me feel better. Huey says when someone be dating someone, they're like a shoe head, a bike head, all of a sudden. Oh, Kiwi, don't turn this stream into that. Don't turn this stream into that. I'm very sensitive. I'm very sensitive. You know how petty I can be. So, you know who my ex is. Okay, that says more about the person riding than the motorcycle, says Diz, talking about motorcycle accidents and people getting in them. That's fair. I mean, the chances go up, but I hear what you're saying, Diz. A skilled cyclist, motorist, a skilled motorcycle person, probably maybe not as likely to get in an accident than somebody that's just peeling around. Okay, Jordan, good morning and welcome. Ethan says motorcycles are cool but loud. Exhausts are cringe. It's like a bicycle that you don't have to pedal. Yes, it is like a bicycle that you don't have to pedal. It's a motorcycle. I think that I was fascinated with them as a kid, because they were fast. And when you're a kid, you want to go fast. But, I grew up and I was like, maybe not. Maybe not for me. It is more dangerous as this. Kiwi, we won't go there. Actually, my friend hit a motorcyclist who ran a red light and the guy lost his leg. Well, don't run red lights, kids. Napstat morning. Welcome to the stream. I think motorcycles are cool, but kind of wild. How you can get like extremely fast bike for way less than a super fast car. So I feel like people get them for their first bike and die. This is a very, very apt and probably accurate view of why there are so many motorcycle accidents. People are getting motorcycles for the wrong reasons. Only $100,000? That's weird, actually. Zeph. Wow. seems. I mean, you're right. I mean, you're just proving your point, I guess. Listen, it's funny how exes can make you irrationally dislike something, and even though you know it's unreasonable, you still dislike it. I'm doing very good, Lindsay. I'm doing very good. Somebody comes to my house. I have a friend named Crispy Nugget. Now, I feel comfortable saying that because I think he has changed his stage name, but I still refer to him as Crispy Nugget because that's what it used to be. And he rides motorcycles. And I like him. He's cool. We've hung out. He's come over to my apartment. We've ate food and talked. And he's cool. He's cool. So I don't dislike motorcycle people. They're people who are fascinated with motorcycles, I guess. It's weird for me. Okay. I think you can get a bike capable of going over 20 miles an hour for 10 grand, while a car that can go that fast goes around 100 grand. Good point, Seth. I've seen a crash at my college on my birthday once, and it was thanks for including that was on your birthday. And it was a couple wearing tank tops and flip flops, and the girl fell on her back. Yikes! Goodbye, back. If you get a motorcycle, it's up to you to be safe and regardless, just like anything else. I agree with this, Diz. I agree with this, but I also. Well, yeah, no, I just agree with that. Because, like, you know the risks. You just have to be more careful than a car person. You're less visible, so you have to take that into consideration. Good point, Diz. That does sound awful, Yana. Where I work, I see motorcycle accidents, and they are never fun to have as a part of my job, says Usaria. I'm sorry, Usaria, that this is the thing that you have to see. That does not sound fun. You signed up for it. You signed up for these risks. Yeah, baby. Your responsibility. That should be a billboard, Diz. I want there to be a billboard with, like, a motorcycle that's been crashed into, like, a telephone pole. And it's like Wile E. Coyote holding up a sign. He's crying. He has like one tear because his dad, like Papa Coyote, died. Daddy Wiley's dead. And he has a sign up that says, yeah, you signed up for it. Your responsibility. Motorcycles. And I don't know exactly who's paying for this ad. I don't even know what this ad's for. I guess it's an anti-ad for motorcycles, but I would like to see that. And it says, I agree. I wrote a whole argumentative essay on the topic after that. Yikes. But yeah, motorcycles are fine. Motorcycles are fine. But, ugh. The motorcycle isn't the problem. She's the problem, guys. You know what's funny about this? If there's a keyboard that has zero velocity sensitivity, it actually highlights mistakes instead of masks them. So there's a lot of like slipped notes are grazed notes that sound super loud, like emphasizes them. I wanted one for a while, but I'm glad that you didn't get one. You know what I wanted? A Vespa. I never really wanted a motorcycle, but I wanted a Vespa so bad. But I told myself I refuse to get a Vespa in a place that has big, wide streets. I want to live in a place that has like narrow streets if I'm going to be on a Vespa. A place like Tulsa, Oklahoma. San Francisco. I don't know. Okay, Ben Roethlisberger, famous football player. Thank you for putting that in parentheses, because I have no idea who that is. Almost died because he wasn't wearing a helmet on a motorcycle and crashed. Yeah, you gotta wear a helmet, guys. Oh, that is a pretty funny shirt. Area. Okay, motorcycles protesting that it was a law that you had to wear a helmet to ride until they changed it. Reminds me of anti-mask protesters. Whoa. Way to modernize that argument. I do remember that. I do remember people that are like, I don't want to have to wear a motorcycle. I'm not at risk. Let me risk my life. Yeah. I suppose. The mask thing is very specifically weird because it's like you're putting other people at risk by not protecting yourself. If you were on a motorcycle and you're not wearing a helmet, I guess you might die. But not wearing a helmet doesn't necessarily put me and my car at risk if you're riding your motorcycle. Good morning, Jesse. How are you doing? Weirdly, in Pennsylvania, it's not required for you to wear a helmet. I guess it's not that weird. It's not the only place that's like that. Here in Arizona, there's a lot of things that aren't required. Um, that being one of them. There's also, I remember in Arizona, you could ride, like, you could have people riding in the back of a flatbed truck and it wouldn't be a problem. But I think in LA, like, you can get a ticket for that. Like, if you're driving a truck and there's like 8 dudes just like sitting in an open back, like the flatbed, I think you can get a ticket for that. But here in Arizona, people do that all the time. I mean, that's how people got up to like Lake Tahoe. People would like go up to the lake like that. Or enough about Arizona. Enough about Arizona, guys. Oh, I should probably tell you guys. So, hold on, pause what I'm saying. Zeph says, if you stretch it, kinda is putting others at risk. With no windshield, it's harder to see. Oh, that's actually kind of a good point. I actually never think about that. Zeph, I never think. I mean, obviously, I shouldn't because I don't have a motorcycle and I've never really been in a vehicle that doesn't have a windshield, right? But what was I on? What was I on? I was on something. I was going really fast, and I was like, "Yo, if a bug hits my face, that's gonna hurt." What was I on? Anyways, I get the point that you're making. I didn't even think about that. I'm stupid. I just don't. Yeah, if you don't have anything blocking wind and dust and stuff like that from getting in your face. I always think about that with rain. Like people that get on motorcycles and they ride around in like rainstorms. I don't know what that's like. Must be scary. What's the current plan going on going back? So okay, so here's what's up, guys. I'm gonna say a lot. My car had a problem. There's something on a car called a drive cycle. If you have a check engine light, even if you fix the thing that the check engine light said was the problem, even if you fix that thing, you have to complete a successful drive cycle in order to like renew or restart the systems of the car. So, that being said, I fixed the check engine light thing, but there are a lot of systems that needed to restart in the car for me to be able to successfully pass an emissions test. I went to go pass an emissions test yesterday. I failed because two of the drive cycles had not been initiated. And so I looked up online how to initiate all the drive cycles on a Volkswagen Jetta, which is the car that I have. And one of the things that wasn't initiating was a cold start. In order to initiate one of the tests for the car, you have to cold start the car, which is like after the car's been sitting out or in your driveway or in your garage overnight. It's when you start the car and you just kind of let it run for a while. Unfortunately, for that thing to initiate, you have to have a certain amount of cool, like things need to be cool. However, in Arizona, where at night it's like 101, 103 degrees, it's never really cool enough to get a cold start. So even though I was starting the car in the morning, it wasn't initiating that sequence. And so people were like, you're going to have to figure out a way to start it in cool temperature. Like let it sit for several hours so that it completely drops as low as it can and then start it up. So I parked it in the garage. My parents let me park it in their garage last night, and then I woke up at 4 a.m. today, and I went through all of the drive cycle things, and I don't know if it actually worked. Um, if you go to AutoZone, you can borrow an OUB device and clear the codes yourself. See, the problem with this is that if you clear the codes, it restarts all of the drive cycles. So then, after it clears the codes, you would have to wait for a successful drive cycle to complete before you can pass an emissions test. Because if you remember, the whole reason I'm doing this is to pass emissions. So even if I had done that, I would still have to do this drive cycle that I'm talking about. And it's just simply so hot here that I'm not able to trip that last one. So I woke up really early this morning around 4 a.m. and I did that drive cycle. And there's no way for me to know if it actually completed until I go and I have somebody hook up an ODB meter to it and check it. However, I had the stream like 15 minutes after I did that, so I haven't done that. So sometime after the stream, I'm going to go check that. If it has completed the drive cycles, Then I will go to emissions, pass emissions, and then I will go to the DMV and renew my registration. Both of those things have very long lines, so it will take up pretty much the entire day. However, if it hasn't passed the drive cycles, well, I'm just stuck and I have to try to do the drive cycles again, either in the middle of the night tonight or tomorrow morning. I don't know. Um, but that's where I currently am. That's the update on Omni Stranded and AZ. Omni, do you enjoy driving? Asks Zeph. It's a good question, Zeph. The reason that's a good question is because sorry, I just figured out how to do a gradient in FL Studio. I figured it out at like 3-ish a.m. last night. I haven't slept, by the way. I figured it out about 3 a.m. last night, and I've just been like thinking about it constantly. So that's why I got distracted. You're asking me if I like to drive. I love exploring, Zeph, and driving is a way to do that. When I lived here in Arizona, because Arizona is so boring, I would take a lot of road trips. I would just drive randomly. I mean, within the state, I would go to like ghost towns. Like, if you're not familiar with Arizona or the ghost town, like what a ghost town is, a lot of ghost towns exist everywhere, right? It's just a town that's been ghosted, or abandoned, but all the structures are still there. It wasn't actually demolished. But the specific brand of Arizona ghost towns is like um, out west. Out west, guys, there was a lot of quick migration out west, and there's a lot of towns that sprouted out of nothing in service of one thing. So if there was like a gold mine in that town, a whole town sprouted around it. If there was a salt mine, a whole town sprouted around it. If there was a train stop, like a train depot, whole town sprouted around it. That's like how the west frontier worked. After the mine was exhausted or after the industry had collapsed, people just left. They picked up their things and they left. And sometimes they left furniture and stuff like that, because if you're on a horse, you can't exactly take everything with you unless you have a big wagon, and a lot of people didn't have that luxury, so they packed what they could get and they migrated to whatever the next town was. And so in Arizona, outside of like Phoenix, Tucson, Flagstaff, all the big cities with colleges and stuff, there's a lot of just towns in between them that are like completely abandoned. And like if you go into them, like there's still furniture in a lot of these like homes. They're like weird log cabin, like Western looking things. It can be very fun if you're just somebody that likes exploring like history, because there's tons of them, countless ghost towns. But if you're somebody that gets scared easily, maybe don't do it, or do it with like a group of friends. Do it in the daytime. There was a whole like thing in Arizona where a lot of kids were like going missing. It was just like a cool thing to go to a ghost town in the middle of the night. Like me and my friends would do it sometimes. Like you just go to a ghost town, you poke around and like break windows and climb into old buildings and stuff like that. But like a few kids came up missing from going to ghost towns, and so there was like a lot of urban legends around it, and of course that plays into the whole them being haunted. People were like, a ghost got them. It was a whole thing. Anywho, thank you for the shirt compliment, Isadora. But ghost towns were like a big thing, and so when I was here, I would drive Zeph to a lot of the ghost towns. Um, and I will explain how to do the gradient in FL Studio whenever my next production stream is. Um, but I would drive around to the ghost towns, and then I got used to those, and I was like, I want to go further, so I would go to like Arizona, Northern Arizona, and then I want to go further, so I would go into California, then California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho. I'd go into like uh, Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, Texas. I would just kind of like drive. So when you ask me if I like driving, I don't really enjoy driving because I'm tall and it's not very comfortable. I get like sore and stuff like that. Like my legs hurt if I drive for upwards of 5 hours. But I love exploring and I see it as a means to explore. So sometimes it's hard for me to decide whether I like the means or if I just like the ends. Because like I love trains. You know how much I love trains, but it's like, do I like trains because I like trains, or do I like trains because usually when I'm on one, it means I'm going someplace new? I like airports for this reason. But I love airports. But if I'm not flying anywhere and I'm just going to the airport to pick somebody up, I hate the airport. So do I really like airports? I don't know. Do I really like driving? I'm not sure. But whenever I went on road trips, people would always make me the driver, by default because one, I'm a very safe driver, and two, I can drive for really long periods of time without needing breaks or sleep. And so they would kind of go like, just put Omni in the driver's seat, make sure somebody is awake that's in the passenger seat, and we're gonna like chill and like goof off in the back, and he'll get us to where we need to be. It sounds like me. You don't like driving. Like, I actually enjoy. Oh, sounds to me like you don't like driving. I actually enjoy the act of driving, says Zeph, even if it's not to explore, or at least you don't mind. You don't mind driving. Yeah, I don't mind driving, but driving specifically does not give me joy. Being behind the driver's seat, for example, being like an Uber driver wouldn't like make me happy. It would be cool and it would be something I could do. But it wouldn't make me happy. However, if I lived in a life where all I had was self-driving cars or I had a personal driver who drove me everywhere, I would be miserable. Because to a certain degree, I do like being behind the wheel. Like, I like driving more than I like being a passenger, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? I don't know. It's very complicated now that I'm trying to actually answer the question. Driving is cool, says Diz. Other people on the road make it a chore. Boo. I like driving, but I hate other drivers, says Leanna, echoing a similar sentiment. Boo! We hate other drivers, right? They're the worst. The worst. Alright, well. That's really hard. It's really hard on a velocity. You really do be having five fingers, huh? I never learned to drive because I will be a danger to humanity, says Easy Aw, don't talk like that. I'm sure you'd be pretty good at driving, Easy I love exploration too, says Zeph. I think my love for exploring is part of why I like driving a lot, but I'm into cars though. So that's part of it too. Oh, so that's an important thing, Zeph. I'm not into cars at all. So maybe that's part of the reason why I don't necessarily get anything out of driving. Like, if somebody's like, hey, can you drive this thing from A to B? I kind of, all I want to know is does this thing run? I really don't care what type of car it is. Even if somebody was like, hey, what kind of car do you want? I'm like, which one's going to last the longest? I just want the thing that's going to last a long time and is comfortable. The only reason I even have a Jetta is because Jetta has got a lot of like, they last for a really long time reviews, or at least that's what I read. I mean, I guess you can read conflicting things about any car, but Jettas seem to last a while. I also saw a lot of very old Jettas on the road constantly. Same with like Honda Civics. I see a lot of old Honda Civics still driving around. Made me a little confident about getting one maybe one day. Okay, word up. Out here, appreciating the fact that humans have five fingers. Yeah, it's weird because you're able to do that like those without actually moving, like, you know. I like that. People mod Jettas. I've seen really fast Jettas. Jettas are nice though too. They have a little something. They're not super slow. Yeah, Jetta's got like a little bit of a kick to it, which I like. I'm not like really a speed demon like I used to be when I was younger, but I mean, I do like that I can get up and go if I needed to. My Toyota Corolla has almost 300,000 miles on it, and I could have kept going. Jesus Christ. Japan, talk about it. Also, I used to have a Jetta until a truck hit it. I'm sorry to hear that, Diz. But that's really cool about your Toyota Corolla. My car currently, I've had it, I've owned my current car almost 8 years. It had like 70,000 miles on it when I got it, and right now it has 121,000 on it. I really don't drive my car that often, guys. I don't know if that. I don't. For some people in the chat, that made sense what I just said, and that was made very evident how very rarely I drive my car. Like, I do not drive my car very often at all. And the reason I don't drive my car is because I live in Los Angeles, so I just take the subway. Usually, if I'm gonna go like downtown, or if I'm gonna go to the beach, if I'm gonna go to like Hollywood or something like that, pretty much anywhere within the confines of LA, I just take the subway everywhere. And so my car, I will drive my car on average 4 miles maybe a week. Like, and that's like usually driving it to the grocery store. If what I need I can't get from the one that's walking distance. Or sometimes I'll drive my roommate places because they don't have a car. But as far as me, like I don't really be driving in LA like that. The Jetta only had a single cam. And it wasn't high displacement, but it was, oh dang, we're getting into it. We're getting into it, Diz. I like Jettas. They remind me of being really young because that was my first car I rode in. Okay, all right. My car has 440,000 miles on it. That is so wild. That is incredible. Okay, car talk. I fixed this song. I'm really glad that I fixed it. What the heck is that? Yo, this keyboard is like hilarious. Ew, ew. Guys, ew. Where are they hiding all the good sounds? Excuse me. I do like that part. I don't really trust Volkswagen anymore, though, says Diz. Was it after their like thing, their big like recall that they had a couple years ago, 3 years ago maybe, 4 years ago maybe? That was a while ago. Or did they do something else? A fresh hiccup. Um, some Jettas come in turbo, right? Or is that just the Golf? No, some Jettas come in turbo. Because every time I go to AutoZone and I tell them, 2006 Volkswagen Jetta, they're like turbo or non-turbo, and then I feel like a clown because I have to go non-turbo, and then they laugh, and then they, hit a few keys on the computer, and they go, "Oh, you need the Brokey model," and they'll give me, I don't know, a soda can to replace a part in the car. Zev says I was kidding. My car doesn't actually have that much. Oh, interesting though is my car is kilometers. Oh, so sometimes my friends get in there like, "Yo, you're going 90." Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, or they cheated on emissions. Yeah. Volkswagen did do the thing. That was sad. Hello, Thinker. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, it was good before. I do like this. I like the. And I also like. Like, they're kind of the same thing, but I just feel like I added one more dynamic element to it to where it isn't just game show. It isn't just like those three parts. Omni, do you mix in headphones more or monitors? Monitors, Zeph, because the only headphones I own are the headphones that I bought for the production stream. So I've only actually had headphones for music making. I mean, those headphones aren't even for music making, but I've only really been using headphones regularly for however long we've been doing production streams, maybe a month. Before that, the only headphones I had were some headphones that I had bought from a pharmacy and and my headset for my PlayStation. And so when I would go to boba shops to work on music, I would use the headphones for my PlayStation simply so that other people didn't have to hear what I was doing. But as you can imagine, a gaming headset is really no substitution for mixing headphones. So I wouldn't do much mixing in them. I would just do a lot of arrangements. Then I would wait until I got home to mix with my monitors. What monitors do you use, XF? I use Adams. Atom monitors. ADAM. I think the 3-inch speakers, if that exists. 3 or 5-inch or something like that. I don't know. Not very big ones though, but I use Adams, and I have been using Adams since I lived here in Arizona. I bought them while I lived here. I bought them at a Guitar Center on layaway, and so and I've lived in LA for 5, 6 years. I had them here for maybe a year or two before I left. So I've had those speakers for a very long time actually. Shouts out to Adam for making a very long-lasting and very flat response reliable speaker. This is not an ad. I've been mixing in headphones, says Zeph, for like ever, and I just got my first set of monitors the other day. Congratulations, Zeph. Can be a whole new world. Roland Poli says, how long have you been playing piano? It's a very good question. One that they don't have a very clear answer to. So let's just say more than 8 years, right? Let's say that. Because it's just a complicated question. I feel like if I really get into why it's a complicated question, we'll be here for another 15 minutes, and then somebody's going to ask that question in like a week, and then I'm going to have to say it again. But it is a very complicated question because I didn't start playing piano, right? I didn't really start playing piano. That's why it's a difficult question. Roly poly, if you ask me how long I've been playing video games, I wouldn't really be able to answer that because I don't even remember when I first played a video game. You know? I know I've been playing video games a lot longer than I've been playing piano. I know that much, but it's always a hard question to answer. I think the people that I know that have the best answer for how long have you been playing piano is usually either one, when they haven't been playing for very many years, or two, when they took lessons, when the first time they played piano was in a lesson, because they could go, well, I started lessons when I was 12, and now I'm 18, therefore I've been playing piano for about 6 years. I didn't have traditional lessons. There was just kind of a keyboard around the house, not unlike this one, that I would mess around on every now and then, but I mean, I wasn't serious about it, so I don't know if I should count those years, you know. Anyways, this says, I think speakers and headphones would both give you different levels of detail, and you could miss certain things using either. This is true, Diz. This is very true, Diz. There's like this really interesting, oh boy, I'm not going to spend very much time here either. But you're always going to miss something in music production. In mixing. Let me not say production, but in mixing, which is part of production, but whatever. You're always going to miss something. You're always going to think you have a good wrangle hold of your songs, and then you're going to hear them on some AirPods or through someone's TV speakers or through something, a car sound system, and you're going to go, oh, that's not the way I mixed that song. And it's kind of okay. Hey, what's up, Maddie? It's like kind of okay because there's just really no way to get a wrangle hold on it. Now, if you have a professional mixing house mixing all of your tracks, and you have a professional mastering house mastering all of your tracks, and you're paying them each like $2,000 each for the song, so you've got like $4,000 to spend on mixing and mastering, you're probably going to get a pretty good sounding, you know, a good sounding mix down and master from that. But a lot of us don't have that. So yeah, kind of like what Diz says. You can listen to it on headphones. You can listen to it on a phone speaker, on a laptop speaker, on AirPods, on a car sound system, on your TV, on monitors. You can listen to it on as many things as you can to try to get some type of like even balance. You know, try to get a well-rounded and informative look on your song. But sometimes in the past I've driven myself mad trying to do this. You know, where I listen to it on one thing and I'm like, oh, sounds perfect. Then I listen to it on headphones and I'm like, oh, it sounds weird. And I get it sounding pretty good on headphones, and I listen to it on the monitors again, sounds weird. And I'm like, well, which one's which? Which one has the flat response? A good thing to take into consideration in lines of what Diz was saying is think about the response of that you're getting from your headphones. This is nerdy talk, but think about the response, guys. There are things called flat response monitors. Adam is really good at making flat response monitors, which means that there isn't already EQing in the hardware. The speakers aren't bassy. Some people, when they buy speakers, for example, to go into their car, they want the speakers to be bassy. So those speakers are actually adding bass to songs that don't really have them in order to like make it so you can feel it while you're driving around the car. This can be really good for a casual music listener when they're driving, but can actually be very detrimental to somebody who's trying to listen to their music and hear how it sounds and what needs to be added or taken away. And so a lot of times, like if you listen to music on a PlayStation, for example, my gaming headset, it'll sound away, then I unplug those headphones and I plug in some Beat headphones, all of a sudden there sounds like there's a lot of bass. because Beat headphones were not made for producers. They were made for people who listen to a lot of music, particularly hip hop in the very beginning. And so they're kind of low end heavy that way. They add a little bit of a like a bump in the low end to Beats headphones. So that's what you're getting when you hear it. Versus a gaming headset. A gaming headset is not giving you any extra low end. It's trying to give you a crisp response so that you can hear what people are saying very well. It's mixed more so you can hear a lot of vocal, people in like their vocal range. And so, yeah, if I'm listening to one of my songs on my gaming headset, the vocals are going to sound pretty good. I'm like, oh, I don't need to mix these anymore at all. When actually the headphones are doing a little bit of that work. Um, but then I'll listen to my songs on, my gaming headset and go like, oh, I can't hear the sub bass at all. And it's just because that's not really what those headphones are for a lot of the time. So yeah, that's why a lot of people, when doing production, they say always do the car test. Go listen to your song in a car, because that's where a lot of people are going to be listening to your music. And even though you're not getting an accurate response of what you've mixed, you're getting an accurate response of what a good large pie slice of your audience is going to be hearing when they listen to your music. So a good thing to keep in consideration when mixing and mastering your music is I have two monitors. I think they were like $250 each. I bought them on sale, or they were buy one, get one free, because I'm freaking brokey. But they're pretty expensive, right? It's like $500 for a set of these monitors. Most people that listen to my music on their computer do not have monitors, and even the ones that do probably don't have monitors that nice. So if I'm mixing them so they sound really good on monitors, I have to also take into consideration that people use AirPods to listen to music a lot. And so if I don't know what my music sounds like on an AirPod, I just have to hope it sounds good, right? I don't have an iPhone, I don't have AirPods. So if it sounds good on the monitor, but it sounds like trash coming out of the AirPods, people might assume that I'm not a good musician or producer because my music sounds poor. So always take into consideration that people don't have the knowledge that you do, and also do not have the equipment that you do half the time when they're listening to music. So, yeah. I remember I sent somebody, oh, I can say her name. Her name's Jerica. I love her to pieces, but I remember I sent her my new release when it came out. This was years ago, before she moved. And she just started listening to it on her phone, like on the phone speaker, with like the speaker up to her ear. And I was just like sitting next to her, like trying not to cry. I was just like, why are you doing this? Like, you can't hear anything. I put in like 4 months in this song. This is horrible. But she like listened to it, and then like, I think she got like maybe 30 seconds or so into it, and she was like, oh, this is like really good, yeah. And then she just like closed the song, and that was it. And I was like, oh my god. But that is the way a lot of people listen to music, so I have to make sure maybe my song sounds decent coming out of a phone speaker. I do listen to my songs through a phone speaker sometimes, just to hear. Anyways, that is the thing that Jerica did to me, and I love her to pieces. She moved to Chicago, and so we don't talk no more. Well, we talk, but we don't see each other. Rama says, aren't headphones supposed to be for music only you can hear? Says this. Yeah. Oh my god. I don't like being able to hear what people are listening to on their headphones. I don't think any of us do. But yeah, that was rough. That was rough that she did that. Oh, thanks, Kiwi. That was rough that she did that. Shouts out to Jerica. But I think a lot of people do that. A lot of people do that. They'll listen to music on... I'm not saying anything's wrong with AirPods, but yeah. AirPods are made to listen to, tunes on them. So they're not trash, but they're definitely cutting out a lot of, what is being put into music. AirPods. Because the thing is... Okay, alright. AirPods look dumb to me. Says Zeph. So, for me, I love this sound, by the way. Okay, so I used to really like this group named Rip Slime. This is going to be so relatable to you guys. It's going to be so relatable. I used to listen to this Japanese rap group named Rip Slime. That part's not going to be relatable. Maybe nobody on the stream even knows who Rip Slime is. But when I listen to them, I constantly listen to them on like those headphones that come with your iPod, before AirPods were a thing. You know, the white, like clickety clackety Skittle things, where it's hard. It's not even there's not even like a soft like rubbery part on the ear thing. You're just putting like Skittles in your ears. I listened to Rip Slime at school all the time, and um, I loved those songs. And then I remember my friend Alan McCall. Love you, Alan. Alan joined the military, and so I don't know where they are now. But anyways, Alan McCall was one of my only homies in high school, or more a homie than of a homie. He had a car. Now I remember we got in his car after school, and like teenagers, there wasn't really anything to do because we weren't really like we didn't have lives outside of school, and you know you're young and it's Arizona, so he would just drive around like really fast, and that's what we did. He would just drive around. We'd be in the back seat, and he was like, "Omni, you like Rip Slime, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I love Rip Slime." And he was like, "Check this out," and he played Rip Slime on his sound system of his car. He had a new car. It was a Nissan Sentra. I don't know why I remember this, but it was new at the time, and you could play music from an iPod on it. Like you could just plug in. I was like, this is wild. This is how long have they been able to do this? Granted, they had been able to do that for a while, but because I'm a brokey, I still freak out when I get into a car and they have like a rear view camera, just because like that I never have new cars. So I remember like seeing that and I was like, oh snap. And he plays a Rip Slime song, and suddenly I was hearing things in the Rip Slime song that I had never heard. Not even just instruments, but like specific frequencies and stuff that was happening and movement and percussion. I was just like, this just doesn't exist in my version because me at that age, I didn't understand how frequency response worked for headphones versus a whole sound system. And so when I got home, I tried so hard to hear those frequencies and those things in my computer speakers and in my headphones. I just couldn't hear them. I was like, that's so weird. Granted, headphones have come a long way, and I could probably hear them in today's AirPods better than I could in yesterday's AirPods. But yeah, I think sometimes I will put specific things in my music, and I know that when somebody's like, "Oh, I just got the new track, I love it," and they're listening to it on AirPods, I'm like so glad that they're listening to it. But a little part of me is like, they're not really hearing all of it, and you just have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with that. This is all conversation sparking from Diz's comment about how headphones and monitors are going to give you a different sound. They absolutely are. Um, that's the one thing that kind of sucks about music. But something recently, and some illustrators will be able to relate to this in the stream because I'm not an illustrator, but I have a lot of illustrator friends, people like Kiwi, um, people like Kiwi. No, I know there's more of you in the stream, but I've met Kiwi in person. So I'm gonna say Kiwi. People will say, "Oh, I don't like that when I upload my drawing to Twitter or to Instagram or to Facebook, it messes with the colors." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "It changes the colors." And they'll show me the before and the after, but me as an idiot, as a layperson that doesn't really understand that much about colors and illustrations, the change to me is so subtle that I'm like, I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But that's the same way music people are hearing. When music people hear music through AirPods versus hearing it on a sound system, they're kind of like, yeah, I can tell it's the song. It's fine. But I think that it's just one of those things you have to. You as the creator, you can hear all the differences, and sometimes it can be heartbreaking because you can see the degradation of your own work. But a lot of like people that don't know any better are just looking at it and they're like, oh, this is fine. Compression is a thing, says Diz. Indeed, visually and sonically. Um, I did not break the Casio keyboard. Line destroyed the quality of those sky illustrations I did, says Lindsay. I didn't even know that. I don't have Twitter, says Maddie. Yeah, word up. Thanks. Oh, I love this sound. I'm gonna chill on this sound for a little while if that's cool with everybody. This is cool. Thanks, Cyber. Yeah, if you could like the stream, that would be super sick. giving us some hacks. A way around the compression, or at least to mitigate it, is to upload as close as their guidelines as possible. I always think about how there are songs I love that I realize are mixed awfully, and it sounds like they took an EQ and just high-low shelved the entire song. When I listen on my own, if one thing is too bright or dark, I'm like, bruh, no. Oh my god, Zeph. Thank you, Zeph. Thank you, Zeph. I've actually said this not in such an eloquent way as you put it in the stream with like anecdotal information and stuff like that. Um, I think I think as creators, you're always really tough on your own heart, and somehow this happened too with like. This is why my conversation was a little bit different, Zeph, is I was talking about creators versus creators. I was talking about when I upload a song and somebody comes and hits me up and they're like, yo, man, the snare is not hitting here. Yo, man, like, it sounds like things are redlining here. Yo, man, like, you need to try to, like, beef out or, like, fill in the mid-range. This is, like, way too low and heavy, bro. Like, when people hit me up with those things, I feel weird because I know that a lot of the songs that I am, we are all inspired by, were mixed horribly, and nobody really like pulls up like a Biggie song and listens to the beat and they're like, "Yo, man, this is mixed like trash." Like people aren't really doing that because they're like, it's allowed to be mixed poorly because it's just good, and I think that that is a thing. I think that even if somebody, whether it was you, Zephyr, or it was me, or it was Lindsay, I don't care who it is. If somebody kept uploading music and it was quote unquote bad, but everybody liked it, or enough people did like it, it just kind of becomes legitimized as a sound. And so a lot of times when people, because I don't necessarily want to have that crystal clear clarity sound that like Zed has. Obviously, that's not the direction I'm going. I'm going like a different direction. And so I think it's okay to have that sound, right? If we're all chasing this super polished, clean, lush, overproduced sound, then we're going to sound very similar. I kind of like that there are songs that are mixed to sound super clean, and then there's songs that sound super dirty. I like that like blown speaker, overdriven, like think of like the Sex Bombs tracks from Scott Pilgrim, like that really like the bass just sounds like it's broken almost. Like I like that is nice. I like that sound for that band. And there's people that like a lot of people right now really love like Dog Show Records acts, and so like really like 100 gex or something. And I think that if somebody was really tearing down 100 gex from a sound design level, there are a lot of people who could say this is horrible, and there are a lot of other people that could say this is avant-garde or this is super smart. And so um, I definitely always try to improve, every creator should, but just try to like keep into consideration that it's like, yeah, a lot of the things that we like, we aren't nearly as critical as we are on ourselves and each other. It's just kind of, it's rough that way. There's lots of info on YouTube about how to get the best result from IG, Twitter, etc. Says Diz talking about the compression, how to get around it. I think a super duper clean pro master's degree in audio engineering sounds don't sound that cool. Like Justin Bieber mixing, says Zephyr. Word. Justin Bieber mixing is a pretty funny term. I always specifically use Zed because I remember when I was making EDM or something close to it, I remember hearing Zed songs and I was just like, how is he getting that? How is he getting that crystal clean sound? And Zephyr to bring up 100x for the second and last time in this stream. That's definitely not a clean sound, but a lot of people really like it. There's this really weird thing that happens because since I'm like close in that scene, in the same scene space as 100 gex, I didn't actually realize 100 gex was as big as they were until like, I want to say like 4 months ago. Um, Same thing with, there's a few, I mean, a lot of you can probably relate to this too. It's like when you have a friend or you have like a person that you talk to or a person that you know and you see every day, and they're like doing pretty good, but you don't realize how good because you're too close, and then you kind of like back up and you're like, oh, never mind. I didn't realize that people liked it like that. Like I did the same thing with Kiriko Bonito, where it was like me and them were close and we were like playing shows together and we were like hanging out and laughing and carrying on. I was just like, I mean, they're pretty big. Everybody likes Caro Caro Bonito. And then one day I turned around and I was like, oh, I didn't know. Nobody told me it was like this. I had no idea. And so kind of the same thing happened with 100 Gex. I also didn't like that game very much, Cyber. I like the joke, but I also did not like that game. I rented that game from Blockbuster. I should say my dad rented that game from Blockbuster for me, and I was not too pleased. Maddie, I really wanted to like it. Says Lindsay. Maybe I need to give it another shot. Lindsay, I can say this. Hold on. This says, never heard of 100 Gex. Are they one of the artists that really distorted bass on purpose? They really distort a lot of things on purpose. But I will say, Lindsay, don't feel obligated to like it. I say this very carefully because I understand that this is a video thing, and these are friends of mine, but I can honestly say, with all due respect to Dylan Brady, and all due respect to Laura Les, and all due respect to Diplo and the entire imprint of Dog Show Records, all homies, right? I don't like it. I personally, like, if I'm sitting in my space and I want to, like, throw in a track that's going to connect with me, I'm not throwing that on. That's not what I'm throwing on. If I'm at a show, somebody plays a track, like one of their tracks, or if I'm at, like if Guppy plays, like, a 100 Gex song, or Guppy, because Guppy also has, like, a sound that gets pretty similar to 100 Gex 2 now. I like Guppy. I like Guppy stuff, but, like, 100 Gex stuff just is not for me. And, so many of my friends are going crazy over them, and I was like, why don't I like this? Don't do that, Lindsay. Don't do that to yourself. I think that there's a lot of, like, fads in music. It would be kind of like the same thing, like when Lil Uzi and I'm trying not to say all the Lils because not all the Lils are the same. There was a specific time where hip hop took, like, a very, very harsh left turn. And I felt like there was a lot of rap that was coming out that it wasn't so focused on bars or even, like, dope beats. It was more focused on other things. And I feel like I was, like, listening to all my friends that are like, oh my god, this new track, Playboi Carti just did the wildest baby voice. And I was just like, why don't I like this? I love hip hop. Like, why is this not what I want to listen to? Why am I still listening to Kendrick, but, like, I can't really get into, like, Kodak Black like my friends are? Like, why is this happening? But don't do that, Lindsay. That's a slippery slope. If you don't like it, you don't like it, and that's A-okay. Yeah. Kodak Black is awful, says Everett. I'm not gonna say Kodak Black is awful. Maybe as a person has done some pretty regrettable things, but as music, I don't know. Because I also can't say that 100 Gex is awful. All I can say about 100 Gex is that it's music made for a very specific type of person, and I am not that type of person. I appreciate it for what it is, but if somebody's listening to it, I'm not happy. I'm not having a good time. I spent so much of my middle school and high school life trying to like music I didn't actually like, says Maddie. Same. And then in college, I was able to discover music that really resonated with me. I think this is true for a lot of people, Maddie. Not only about music, but just about style. I think a lot of people are trying to conform in high school, then they get to college and realize, oh, I'm a human being. I can like the things I like. However, one last point I'm going to make about 100 Gex, that isn't really a point about 100 Gex, is a lot of 100 Gex fans tend to be pretty young. And I try to think about other acts. Now, I'm going to say some names, and people are going to get upset. And so I want to apologize first, because I understand that you got to keep in mind, I'm not saying these people are the same. I'm going to make my point at the very end. But I think that there are a lot of people in the scene phase that loved Blood on the Dance Floor, or they loved Broken Side, or they loved, who else was there with those people? Anyways, there's like a lot of those. There's a lot of those. They loved that stuff. And I did not. Even though I was touring and performing with those bands, my band was on tour with those bands, I did not like those bands. I didn't appreciate that type of music. But I can remember not too many years earlier than that, I actually did dip into listening to MSI, and mine was Self-Indulgent, that band. And I remember liking Mindless Self-Indulgence. Not because it was good music, but because it was just stupid and it was loud and it was random and it was all over the place. And at that time of angst, I felt random and stupid and all over the place. And I was like, this music gets me, man. But if somebody listened to Mindless Self-Indulgence now, around me, I'd be like, okay, all right. I've had 3 minutes. I've had enough. Maybe something else. Maybe we can listen to something else. Um, and so that being said, yeah, Cyber. So that being said, I've gotten out of that, but I understand that just because I got out of something doesn't mean everybody else did. In the same way that I gradually lost interest in Pokemon, but there are a lot of people that are still in Pokemon. So I think that the same people that were into mindless self-indulgence however many years ago could also very easily be into 100 Gex today. It's just all over the place. It's very angsty, emotional, kind of chaotic music. And I did have a period in my life where I super liked that. For example, and again, I don't want anybody to get offended with the names I'm saying, because I know a lot of these artists are different, right? Somebody might say, oh, Blood on the Dance Floor is different because their frontman is a child molester. And I'm like, absolutely. Absolutely. But if I'm just talking about the music and what the music has done, I remember hearing System of a Down for the first time and going like, yeah. You have like an Armenian dude that's like crooning 1 second and then like guitar chugs and he just starts screaming. I was like, yeah. I think that this is me. I think this is. I'm just gonna listen to hip hop and System of a Down for the next 50 years. It didn't turn out to be true, but if System of a Down came out today, would I connect with it at all? No, probably not. I don't even know if I like that band. I might appreciate what they're doing and that they're good musicians, but I don't know if I'm buying a System of a Down CD. But years ago, that music did connect with me. So I've tried to keep a lot of perspective on things. I like Aphex Twin back in the day. Yeah, that's another one. That's a good point. I feel the same way about Sode now. Yeah, Lindsay. And so when everybody was like, 100 Gex is the best thing that ever happened to music, and I was like, oh, I don't feel that way at all. I don't even like this sound. I had to remind myself that I was like, I think I could like this sound. I'm just not in the place in my life anymore that would be able to truly connect with whatever I hear happening now. I also... No, I'm not going to say that. I probably would have liked them when I listened to Crystal Castles at the time. Yeah, Lindsay. Yeah. Because I also liked Crystal Castles. So good, right? And if somebody brings up Crystal Castles today, I'm still going to say, yeah, so good. Because I remember when I used to connect with it, even though now that's not true. This has been a very enlightening conversation. Crystal Castles are so good. What was it? For some reason, whenever I think of Crystal Castles, I think of cheerleaders. Am I thinking of a specific song that was called Cheerleader or a music video that had cheerleaders in it? I don't know what I'm thinking of, but whatever the thing I'm thinking of is, it was good. Why am I thinking of cheerleaders? What am I thinking of? Lindsay? I don't know either. I don't know. Maybe we can get to the bottom of it. Okay, Maddie says, I didn't ever have that angsty or chaotic phase when I was younger. I really hit my messy stride in my 20s. And now presents in my art style and music taste. That's actually really interesting, Maddie. Yeah, we don't all hit the thing at the same time. So, I get it. I get when I listen to 100 Gex and all of the like-minded, because I feel like there is just a lot of producers that want to sound like that now. And now that I've said that, I can't name any of those producers without sounding like I'm insulting them. But I think there's a lot of people that are kind of just on that wave right now. Maybe that weren't a few months ago or a year ago. And I get it. I can look at it and I can understand it and even appreciate it for what it is. But not for me. Not for me. God, my parents must have been so upset when I was listening to System of a Down. Like, what the heck is wrong with this dude? Anyways, I'm trying to think of why I'm thinking of cheerleaders. You know, it might have nothing to do with crystal castles, by the way. Oh no, the thing fell over. Hold on. It might have nothing to do with crystal castles. It might be completely unrelated. It might be a different group. What was that group? Oh, wow. There was a different group that maybe wasn't Crystal Castles, right? Maybe? What was that group called? No, it was Crystal Castles. I am wasting everyone's time. Oh, crap. What was the name of that group? Oh, it might not have been Crystal Castles. Maybe I'm just getting it confused because it was also a girl and then a dude with a guitar. What am I thinking of? Hmm. Nobody knows. It's okay. Okay. Um, if it isn't related at all, my music taste is so wide. Math, rock, contemporary beats. Yeah, my music taste is pretty wide too. I like the two things that you just said. 100 gag sniped your phone off the table. Haha, this. It's weird because when I was younger, I had such an old head mentality on music and only like rap songs that are meaningful and stuff. And now I'm a lot more relaxed. Same, no, Zephyr. I maybe that is weird, but I can relate to that. When I was younger, I was like listening to Immortal Technique like on my way to junior high, being like, "Yo, this fool's spitting." And now it's like, yeah, I can listen to some pretty meaningless stuff. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, hip hop wise, that I listen to, but it's definitely there. You know, it's definitely there. Sleigh bells. Whoa! It was sleigh bells, Lindsay. Very impressive. Holy crap! Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was sleigh bells. Yeah. So why am I thinking of cheerleaders? Did they have a song called Cheerleader? Who was it? Oh, I also made the. It was Soothsayer. I also make the connection from Crystal Castle's cheerleaders through Sables. Oh my god. I feel very connected with Soothsayer, who's always so quiet by the way. But thank you. Whoa. Soothsayer. Wow. I'm so glad that one, you got that, and two, you also do that. I do that a lot. When somebody says Crystal Castles, I think I get these two images. I get an image of Alice Glass, and I get an image of cheerleaders, and I see a bunch of CRT like TVs, like a bunch of like old, you know, like rotary dial TVs stacked up on top of each other with like static on them. And I don't know what exactly I'm thinking of. It might be a Sleigh Bells music video or something, but oh, oh my god. Anyways, yeah, yeah, yeah. Pitchfork made a review classifying them as cheerleader metal. Oh my god, you're right. This is so weird. Oh man, I have. Wow, we have very similar experiences, I guess, in this very, very singular way. Huh. Anywho, yeah. Sorry, Crystal Castle's cool. Also, Sleigh Bells though. Sleigh Bells is another music group that if they came out now, I don't know that I'd be super into it. It would probably sound to me like what 100 Gex sounds like to me right now, which is just ooh, no, wow, that's wild. Yeah, those are my homies, but there are some times where like, ah, the like term white people wildin'. The term white people wildin' is I want to say it affectionately because I understand it can be received poorly, but I feel like there is always like a bunch of really cool like oh no cultural shifts where it's like, oh, Islanders brought this with them, and um, like Pacific Islanders have this type of music, and like black people brought this, and then there's jazz, and then there's hip hop, and then every now and then there will be white people wildin', which is like there isn't a lot of cultural identity. It's just white people going hamburger and cheese on like something. That's what Portland feels like to me. Whenever I go to Portland, it feels like not necessarily a bunch of cultural integrity, but it feels like white people wilding, them being like, yo, 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 cereal on donuts, man. That's culture, right? And it's like, yeah, that's cool. That's cool, but it doesn't feel the same, right? And so if somebody's like, yeah, yeah, I'm like doing these jazz chords, I'm doing this, and then like somebody's like, yo, 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 like overdriven vocals, baby, auto tune, and then distortion, all the heck, and then it's like overdrive, 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 distort, 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 200 BPM. Who cares, man? We wildin'. Like that's what it feels like sometimes, and it can be very, very good. It can be very good. Like Sleigh Bells just felt like, wild. Uh, Visit Portland, please. Please visit Portland. Maybe don't move there, but oh, that sounds so cool. I should send that to Young Skirt so he can make a beat on that. Okay, anywho, this says white people would be real excitable. I don't know what. Okay, all right, all right. I don't know what it is with a stereotypical desire for white people to have some kind of identity or culture outside of themselves. Maybe it's a desire to be part of a group. I would argue white people are part of a very big group called white people. But I understand the thing you're saying, cyber. And if I'm shooting white people bail, which I really don't need to. I think I'm just doing this because I don't want this to be a beat 'em up stream. If I'm shooting white people some bail, I think I get that specific thing. I think I get it when I'm hanging out with all of my homies, and this is hypothetical. This doesn't actually happen. But maybe when I was a kid, maybe this actually happened. Like hanging out with all the homies, and they're like, "Man, I've got like a C in English," and then like another homie's like, "Got a C? Wow, you mad smart. I got D's. Like I got straight D's." And somebody's like, "You got D's? I don't even show up to class." And it's like this weird thing where when people are saying that, when people are talking about their struggles, you can't enter the conversation. You can't enter the conversation and go like, "Well, I don't have any," because then no one likes you in the conversation. And so if people are like, "Man, my parents were mean to me when I was a kid. Yeah, mad abusive and stuff like that." It's like, I want to be a part of this conversation. I don't like being excluded. So you just come into the conversation, you're like, my parents tried to blow me up when I was a kid. They threw me into a burning building just because you want to be in. And there's no way you can be appreciated in the conversation without topping people. And so I think that's what it is, cyber. I think when other people have their own thing, they're like, I want a thing, and hmm, hmm. There's a friend. Had this convo yesterday about why we need to move to Mars. Jesus. I had a conversation, says Maddie, with older white ladies where one of them had got offended at the white people have no culture joke, and her response was, "What about clogging?" And I nearly lost it. Yeah, here's the thing. I. Hmm. Okay, so I talked to you yesterday about. Clogging is dope, by the way. Clogging is sick as heck. I'm laughing, but clogging, both looking to it and listening to it, and the music that accompanies it is amazing. But I'm saying, I said yesterday what my job was. I used to take care of kids that had developmental disabilities, and sometimes it was very taxing. Sometimes, if I'm being honest, that job was just straight up fun. Sometimes the kids are really cool, and sometimes you're able to really connect with them and teach them something. I realize also this angle makes it look like I'm not wearing anything as bottoms, but anyways, sometimes the kids are really cool. But there was one kid that I remember his parents would just buy him anything and everything. Anything and everything. Like, he had a video game console, he had another video game console, he had a TV, he had a computer, he had computer games. On top of that, he had toys, he had everything. Like, I would honestly have to, like, keep my own weird, like regressive nostalgic jealousy in check when I would see all the stuff that he got to do, and I was just like, dang, I didn't get to do that. And homeboy's complaining all the time. And so I feel like, holy crap, Zephyr, Jesus Christ. Okay. Zephyr made a wild comment. Anywho, they would give this kid everything. And the kid never touched any of his stuff. He was like, I'm bored. I'm bored. That was his whole thing. I'm bored all the time. I'm bored. I don't have anything to do. It's boring here. And I'm like, bro, you got everything. What do you want to do? And he was like, I don't want to play with that toy. I got that last week. I'm like, some of these toys aren't even open. They're still in their packages, man. Like, you want to play with this? He's like, nah, it's old. And so he didn't want to do anything. But he also had a little sister. And if his little sister touched anything, he would like flip out. He like, don't touch anything. Like, I want to have everything. If his little sister got something, he wanted some. If the little sister got ice cream, I want some ice cream. I'd get him some ice cream. He'd have like 2 bites of it, then he didn't want it anymore. I'm just like, wow, that's wild. And I think, Cyber, that is how I feel about, I don't know, white discrimination, I guess. I think that right now there's more minorities having voices, I guess, and we're making movies about struggles, and we're making music about struggles, and we're making culture that's birthed out of a lot of diversity and adversity. And I think that some white people are seeing that and they're like, I want to play too. Like, how come? Where's mine? And then they'll make I don't know, a thing like, I'm discriminated. I'm discriminated against too. And I'm like, how? And they're like, I don't know, man. I'm freaking. I got bad anxiety, bro. And I'm like, okay, all right. And so I feel like that's what it is, Cyber. I think a big aspect of it is that white people are a larger and diverse group than some white people realize. So when you say something weird like clouds it's specific to some whites, this is very true. I also feel kind of weird when like, nah, never mind. Never mind. But that is you're making a very good point, Cyber. It's like white people is like a made up thing, you know. It's like white. It's just light skin, right? The white people, French people are white, but also like Jewish people and Italian people are white, but also Spanish people are white. You know, Russian people are white. Caucasian people, like people actually from the Caucasus Mountains are white. Right? There's a lot of white people, and so when you say white people, it can mean a lot of things. But yeah. Anyway, wow, how do we get here? Hello, Tisa. Cyber says, but it's funny to me when people say white people in the context of the struggle, like you're describing, Omni. Everyone knows exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah. Caucasoids. Yo, that's a callback. Yo, Zephyr's making deep callbacks. Yo. Anybody remember Caucasoid? Anybody remember that? You know what song that is? Anybody know what song that is? uncommon. First panel is a group of people saying you do not fit in here. Second is a group of people saying okay, you don't make your own place. Here's a group of pigs. Or he looks yeah. Yeah. Whereas with black or Asian or even natives, we have been told, says Zephyr, country countless times throughout history that we should hate how we look and who we are. It's only cool to be ethnic now. Yeah. Very, very weird. Very weird. Very cool to be ethnic. Remember when it was like a meme where there was a bunch of like white boys that were wearing wave caps to like give themselves waves, and everybody was like, "This is like really funny." I think I laughed the first time I saw it, and then like after I kept seeing it, I was just like, "All right, guys, all right, guys, maybe calm down a little bit." Okay, you don't see the first part of that, but it's okay. Yeah, yeah, I didn't see. I'm sorry, I didn't see the first part of it. I'm sorry. I think it's definitely rough. It's definitely a struggle, and also I think a lot of people want the to be able to talk about it without actually going through it. It's like a lot of people like when they're a rapper, like new rappers, like they want to talk about like hood life and rough childhoods, but they don't actually want to have one because having one isn't exactly cool and fun. You know, kind of sucks, right? But it's really cool to be able to talk about it later. You know, or when people like, I know people always talk about struggle bus. Moving to LA, everybody would use the term struggle bus, and people were like, oh, the struggle is real. Ooh. Everybody was always telling that to me, and I was like actually living in my car, and I was like, word, yeah, because I thought we were all living in our cars. Word, like, you guys struggling to pay rent too? They're like, nah, but like Coachella sold out before I could get my ticket. Struggle bus, baby. Why can't you take part in such a discussion when you have been a part of it? Says Diz. I'm sorry, Cyber. I'm sorry, Cyber. Gonna give myself an aneurysm. Yeah, okay. Lighter conversation, lighter conversation. So, this is not my keyboard. This keyboard belongs to my mom. This is in my parents' home. And on the keyboard, for two keys, there are, you can't see, but written on them is ASAS. ASAS. I don't know what that means. But it was written on there before I left. Not before I left, but like for years it's been written on there. And I can tell that this keyboard hasn't been played for very long because just in the amount of times I've played it in the past, 4 streams, it's already starting to rub off. And I'm like, holy crap, this poor guy hasn't gotten any love. I did have to dust it and like wash it pretty extensively before I started playing it. It was pretty dusty. Okay, yes. Not trying to get dark, but coming from a kind of messed up, my family is the nicest upbringing. Gets tiring listening to people in the suburbs complain about the most trivial stuff. Yeah, same. I do try not to get into like too much of like my family stuff on the stream. I try to keep it light, but yeah, there's definitely stuff, right? I think that you guys, even if you haven't been listening too intently, like there's bits and pieces of things that I say where it's just like, oh, maybe not the coolest, not the best time in the world. It's why people have not been the subject of police brutality, so most of the white people in the timeline talk about it as if they see it every day. Yeah, it's hard. Even I've had to check myself on things. I've talked about that a little bit. Just to pull the conversation. I'm not trying to pull the conversation necessarily away from race, but I'm gonna hide. I'm gonna hide that one. Cipher. Yeah, I think if I'm pulling, it away from race, I will say that sometimes even I, as a black man, still check myself on certain things. Mostly because I am a man at the end of the day, and so there's a lot of things I've talked about how like there are a lot of things I just like doing that are definitely part of like my privilege as being a dude. Like I really, really like taking late night walks. You guys know where I live. Um, yeah, I'm not talking about my specific community, but I'm talking about just LA as a whole. You know, I used to work in Burbank, which you guys don't understand is very far from East LA. On a bike, it's about an hour and a half, hour and a half to 2 hours, and I would ride my bike home after closing IKEA. So I would close IKEA. I would get home sometime around like 1:30, sometimes 2 a.m., and I was riding my bike the whole time. And so it was fine for me. It wasn't super fine. Some things actually did happen to me on those rides, but it would have been a completely different story if I was like different. If I was, for example, my little sister, probably wouldn't have been the dopest time. So, yeah. Um, this keyboard's very old. This keyboard is very old. I was looking up I do like this one sound. I kind of wish I had this one sound specifically on my keyboard at home. The reason that this sound is so good is because I still want to see that Casio says Cyber. Ooh, maybe I can bring it in. But the reason that this sounds so good is because this keyboard is not velocity sensitive, but an instrument that is not velocity sensitive is a flute. It's very, very hard. You don't have the same range on a flute as far as playing really soft and quiet and playing loud. Like if you live next door to a kid that's practicing flute, you're kind of just going to be able to hear it. They can't turn the flute down. They can't play the flute soft. Same thing for something like a violin. And so even when you have no velocity, but I'm playing flute sounds okay. Versus playing piano sounds kind of sounds unnatural and weird. Zephyr says Ferrari juice spider sound. What? What does the car update mean for the Eden run? Well, okay, so I'm still going to be able to do the Eden run. However, I will not be able to do the production stream tomorrow. At least not in the morning. So here's what I've said. If indeed my car is fixed, and the drive cycle fixed it, which I don't know, right? I'm in a place of ignorance right now. If it's fixed, the earliest I can leave would be after the Eden run, because I don't really want to be driving a bunch at night anyway. So I would leave tomorrow morning, Lindsay, which means that I wouldn't get home, obviously, in time for the stream, which means the only way that a production stream could happen, best case scenario, would be it happens tomorrow evening instead of in the morning. Like if I did it around 3 p.m. or 6 p.m. or something, I could do that. That's the best case scenario. That's if my car is fixed today. However, if my car is not fixed today, I have no idea what's going on. I don't know how to get back to LA, and I don't know when the production stream will happen. But do the wheels literally have to be moving? Says Diz, yes, because part of the drive cycle is, it's really boring, Diz, and everybody else in the stream. It's really boring. It's like, for the drive cycle, it's like, make sure that the coolant in the car is below 122 degrees Fahrenheit. Make sure the temperature outside of the car is cool. It says, like, hopefully, like, somewhere in the 70s, which is impossible here in Arizona, so I have to do the best I can. So start the car, you have to let the car idle for 2.5 minutes, then you have to accelerate the car with the air conditioning and the headlights off, which was hard for me to do this morning at 4 a.m. because in Arizona, you can't really drive with no headlights and also when it's cool out, because those two things will never really coincide. And so it's like, Eden's a video game thing that I'm supposed to be doing at 6 p.m. tonight. Maddie, but you would have to drive it, like, the steps, it's like, accelerate to 60 miles per hour, then, like, cruise for 3 minutes at, like, a high speed, allow the car to decelerate without using the brakes. It's kind of like a lot of stuff it is that naturally a drive cycle gets completed just through casual driving over the course of, a few weeks. But since I'm trying to do it all immediately, I kind of have to look them up and do them specifically step by step. But the whole cold start thing is what's been holding me back right now. How much of a risk will it be to go to LA and keep it how it is? Do the cops be real aggressive about it there? The cops in LA, Diz, I would say, are real aggressive about everything. The cops in LA are really aggressive about nothing at all. I remember during the 3 days, the 3 days. Do you remember this when like curfews were enacted? LA only had a curfew for like 3 or 4 days. Oh my god, the amount of hysteria of people were speeding to try to get home before curfew because of how aggressive the cops were if you were out at like 6:05 p.m. because the curfew was 6 p.m. It was wild. LAPD has never been known for being chill. So I could take the risk that is of driving around illegally in Los Angeles. I just don't. I don't want to take it right now. I don't want. Better safe than sorry, right? And like I don't trust LAPD very well with like my life. So I feel like this is the least amount of time I have to be in contact with them. It is the better. And I know that kind of sucks for the way the stream's going right now, and I do apologize to you all. But I do want to get this figured out before I go back to LA. I do. But best case scenario, guys, is my car is fixed. I sleep here tonight. I leave early in the morning, and I get back to LA in time enough to do an afternoon production stream. Maybe from 3 to 9 p.m. Ooh, that could be interesting. If I do it from 3 to 9 p.m., we'll literally see the sun go down in the stream, which could be fun. Or from like noon to 6 or something. I don't know. But I definitely don't. I'm just kind of playing it by ear. This says, like, here you can jaywalk everywhere in front of the police. They don't care. Where do you live, Diz? Some places cops are more relaxed about different things. You're absolutely right, Diz. I know that cops are more relaxed other places. But I just happen to have been unfortunate to live in two areas, Arizona and Los Angeles, where the cops are very aggressive. Cops are super aggressive in Arizona. Like, they are on their thing. Like, whew. Yeah. Okay. Where are you though, Diz? West Virginia. West Vermont. That's always so interesting. How is jaywalking a crime, says Jesse. Last time I was in LA for the auto show, one of my coworkers got one of those jaywalking tickets. Yeah. Yeah, don't mess around in LA. Like, I mean, I know a few people in the stream have been to LA, have visited LA a bunch of times, but if you are not and you plan to do it in the future, and you're used to kind of like just messing with the laws at home, a little bit, do not do it in LA. Please, guys. I care about you guys a lot. And the cops in LA are not, they're not anything. They're not anything. You can't do anything. You can't like, oh, I was in my wife's pregnant. They're the least understanding group of people I've ever had to deal with. So do not. If you want to jaywalk, just don't do it in LA. If you want to speed, good luck doing it in LA anyway because of traffic. But if you want to speed, maybe just chill for a while. Just don't do anything. I even have to be careful about like getting in fights because obviously moving to LA, I used to get in a lot of fights before I moved out there. And when I moved out there, I still had like that, no one's going to take advantage of me kind of, attitude where I was willing to physically defend myself in situations. And cops don't care about that. Cops show up and they see 3 people fighting. They just put all 3 people in cuffs, just like send them out. Like they're not listening to yo, no, you don't understand, officer. He like attacked my girlfriend. I was like, protect, like, yo, you're getting cuffed up too. So I don't know. I don't mess with laws in LA at all. Anyways, tell me some fight stories. I never would have guessed that you fight people like that. I probably shouldn't get into fight stories, especially while I'm in the state where all the fights happened in. They weren't really good, Zephyr. It's a lot of crap. Jesse says, here, I more expect people to walk in the street than the sidewalk, especially in winter. Oh, why? Why especially in winter? Is the street warmer than the sidewalk? Is the sidewalk just because it's like slippery or something? What's up? I wouldn't know. I've never really lived in a place that has appropriate winters, you know, like the real cold ones. Oh, I was playing double Lutz. Sidewalks aren't shoveled as regularly. Detroit, right? Hello, Crow. How are you doing? What key voicing is that, says Cyber? I heard 203 was pretty good on that keyboard. Um, This is key voicing 41. It's called org flute, which I imagine is just a flute and organ. You said 203? Are you making a joke? Did you research this? Is it a dog bark? Oh, it's not. Oh, that's not bad. I thought I was being punked. Yeah, this is sick. Thanks, Cyber. This is probably my last winter here, says Jesse, talking about Detroit. LA and New York are also dope for their own reasons, but this is the only place where I can have a stupid random idea and buy land to do it, says Tennessee. Yeah. Yeah. I said this in a previous stream. I thought about moving to Detroit specifically for cost of living. I was like, I'll move there and I'll have so much more money to like live a happy life, you know? Why am I in a merry-go-round, says Carl? That did kind of sound like merry-go-round music, you know? But it's like, this setting reminds me of Nier Automata OSTs. Whoa, cool. That was a good game. That was a good game, right? Hmm. Hmm. That was a good game. Okay. Anywho, I can't remember what I was gonna talk about. I did like that. How does that sound with the other one? I love this song, guys. I love that song now. It's very fun. It's very fun. Okay, where are we? What are we at? What are we at right now? I can't. I don't even remember oh, we're at two. Okay, we're at 210. We're at 210. I got Omnisphere, says Zephyr, the other day, and I didn't realize how much of processing power it really uses. It like takes a minute to load up. It's so annoying, Zephyr. I freaking hate it. It's so annoying switching presets on it too. Yes, because you click and then you have to like sit there for a few seconds before you can even get a sound response. Ugh, thank you. I've been waiting for at least one person to be able to complain about that too. Because whenever I use Omnisphere in the stream, not only does it take a minute to hold up, but it like sometimes will make the stream lag a little bit. I'm like, God dang, stupid giant thing. But it has those cool jazz sound, the voices. So I use it. Okay. Uh, yeah. So that's the news. If my car is fixed, production stream will happen in the afternoon tomorrow. If the car is not fixed, I am officially stranded. Because my parents are going to leave, by the way. My parents are leaving town tomorrow morning. So if my parents leave town tomorrow morning, I'm basically alone in Arizona trying to figure out my car. So let's hope that the car is fixed today, right? Zephyr says, good thing I got it from a pirating guy for like a tenth of the price. Morally questionable. Whatever. Word up. I mean, I am not beholden to Omnisphere. I think it's Spectrasonics that makes Omnisphere. They don't sponsor me or anything, so I mean, do what you will. But yeah, I gotta figure out what the heck is going on here. Something. The desert's weird, guys. I don't know how many of you guys have been to the desert, or maybe spent significant time in the desert. I don't mean like a week, but I mean like a month. Like if you've like been in the desert, It does something really interesting to the human brain. I think your brain goes to a weird place. In the same way that if you spend an extended period of time in a forest, oh, guys, have you done that? Sorry, I'm just like remembering when I did that. Have you guys spent like days in the forest? Like, I mean, I know a lot of you guys have gone camping with friends, but like, hmm, it's a little different. It's a little different. Something about looking around and everything looking the same for several days. Like, I don't even mean like, oh, at least there's a waterfall here. This is our campsite. But just kind of like looking around, being like, oh my god, like, yo, everything's the same. I hate that feeling. I hate that feeling. Never been in the desert, says Lindsay. I recommend it. Yeah, I had to do orienting training. Oh yeah, orienteering training. Yeah. I just came back from camping, but it was with other folks. Something about like deep forest, like because Arizona actually has a lot of forest. Arizona, a lot of people think it's just a desert. The Central Valley of it is the desert, right? Remember, like borders are man-made, so it's like the Central Valley is the desert. But we also have like forests. We have like snowy mountains. We have like a lot of stuff. It's kind of like LA in that regard, except without the beaches. Um, but I do recommend going to a desert. I think that spending an extended period of time in the desert does something weird to you. And I think that's why a lot of people go to the desert when they take like psychedelics. Like a lot of people like go to Joshua Park and take shrooms. I'm not saying do drugs because that's obviously not something I can recommend from experience, but spending like extended periods of time in the desert does like push your brain into a weird other place and it makes you realize some things. It's like, oh, people like whatever. Anyways, Manny says I love watching nature programs about the desert because it's such a fascinating ecosystem. It's also a very dangerous ecosystem. The desert, also snow. If you're in a snowstorm, so some of you guys will remember last time that I was remote, right? Last time I was remote, I was up in the snowy mountains with a friend of mine, and this really weird thing happened because I had never really truly been in a snow before. I'd gone to places after it had snowed, and I've seen snow on the sidewalk, but I haven't been in snow is falling, and I'm seeing things become invisible now with the snow. And something really interesting about snow is I didn't realize how much sound it soaked in. For example, me and my friend were walking in, not even like a blizzard, but just like light snowfall, and we were like kind of trudging in snowshoes through the mountain. And my friend was maybe 15, 20 feet behind me, and I had to keep turning around and checking that they were there because they were talking the whole time, but I couldn't hear anything they were saying. Like snow, like swallows sound. And it was so weird because you kind of can't really hear anything until it's right up on you, you know? Like, you'll hear somebody, and you'll turn, and it's like, oh, how did you get there? Like, I didn't hear you coming up at all. It, like, dampens the sound. Um, uh, yeah, so quite, okay, so, yeah. And, oh my god, Cyber's saying the exact same thing that I'm saying. I should, like, look at the chat before I start talking at the time, because people, for whatever reason, are on the same lane I am. Yes, exactly what Cyber's saying. It's like a natural dampener of sound, so you can't hear anything. And all I could think of, never had frozen pipes crowd because I've only ever lived in Arizona, Central Valley, and Los Angeles. But I started understanding a lot of things, right? I'm like, people had to like trek through this. A lot of people lived in this, and a lot of people have been dying or died very close to where there were other people, and the people just couldn't hear them, or people would get lost in snowstorms, not necessarily because they were so far away, but because when it's snowing, you can't see for very far, and you definitely can't hear for very far, so somebody could just be right around the corner screaming for their life, and you couldn't hear them. So, that's the thing that I learned about being in snow. Also, something about being in the desert that's interesting is the desert has a lot of its own dangers um, that the desert has a lot of its own dangers that are different, but similar to that of a snowstorm that I won't necessarily get into. But in a desert, there is a way to walk through the desert. You know, if you're walking through the desert, there's a way to like do it safely. And then there's just I'm gonna walk in a straight line, which can be very dangerous. There's also a lot of predators in the desert, and there's ways to see. There's like ways to like look up tracks in the desert because unlike the snow, where tracks can be very quickly covered, in the desert not so much. So you can get really used to seeing like, oh, there's a snake here, or, oh, there is this here, or this is where this thing lives. Or stuff like that. Anyways, I really would like for everybody to have to spend time in a forest and in snow and in desert and maybe even at sea. Not something I've done, but maybe that would also give us more insight. Because before a lot of the conveniences of transportation, a lot of people did have to like trek through snow or walk through the desert or take a boat over an ocean. And I do like trying to connect a little bit with whatever those people were going through to some small degree. I'm really stuck on the desert makes you realize things. It just makes you realize things. Like, have you realized something even on this trip? No. I've remembered things. Some things really small, right? Like a really small thing would be that in LA you can't see the stars. In the desert you can see all the stars because there's no light source. So being in the desert, it gets really dark and all of your light comes from the stars. But another thing that is interesting about being in the desert is you have to remember a lot of things reflect light. So if you're in the forest and you have moonlight, it doesn't seem like it, guys, but the leaves on trees reflect some of that light. There are a lot of things around the forest, even just trees themselves, that reflect light. And you will be able to see the light bouncing off of these things, and it makes the forest a little bit brighter. If you take away all those trees and you take away all the grass, you take away all the foliage, you take away all the bodies of water, it takes away the reflective surface of things. So if you're standing out in the middle of the desert at 4 a.m., like I was earlier today, you really can't see anything. Like the desert is like black. Like it's dark. If you ever thought about sometimes you look at like those nature videos where they're like following a nocturnal animal in the dark, but they have a light shining right at it. But it's kind of like this weird cone, like this vignette where you can see the animal in the spotlight, but everything around it is black. That black is what the desert's like at night. You just can't see anything. Like, there have been times where I've been in Apache Junction, which is a little bit further away, and you, like, can't see, like, you have to, like, sit there for a second just to adjust to be able to see your hands in front of you. Or you're driving with your headlights on, and you can just see to where your headlights light ends, and that's, like, it. It's weird. It's like driving in space. Like, the desert gets super dark, and it's just because there's nothing for the light to bounce off of. It doesn't really soak in the moonlight. If you look up, you'll see all the stars and the moon, but then you look straight ahead and you don't see anything. It's really weird. Anywho, I would like for everybody to experience that sometime. Safely, of course, safely. There are things in the desert that will harm you. Please don't just, run out into the desert or drive out aimlessly. It could be very dangerous. The desert also gets really cold at night. Yeah. Really hot in the day, to the triple digits in the day, and low doubles at night. Like, it gets super cold. And so, yeah. Okay. That alone has me sold. That sounds creepy but cool. It is pretty cool. It is pretty cool. The desert's really nice. If you're going to try to experience the desert in a safe way, I would recommend New Mexico. Arizona has these things called javelinas, which are peccaries or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of words for them. I call them wild pigs, but like, javelinas are not to be messed with. And if you get caught out by some javelinas, like, I don't know what to tell you. You're not going to outrun them. They're not going to outrun them. They're extremely fast desert pigs that do eat meat, and people sometimes are meat. They don't kill and eat you like a mountain lion would, but they will kill you. And after you're dead, they might eat you. So be afraid of the javelinas. However, New Mexico does not have javelinas, so you'll be fine. I mean, New Mexico does have like whatever. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Experience the desert safely if you can. I would probably go to the desert with someone who has experience in the desert. Ideally, yes, do this, guys. I think that I've given you all the updates. We're approaching 2:30. So, really quick recap is just right now I don't know what's going on with my car. As soon as I do know, then I will let you guys know if my car is fixed. Production stream will happen tomorrow afternoon. If my car is not fixed, this stream might get really scary. A man stranded in the desert. But yeah, in general, I want to thank everybody for being so consistent during this. I was playing with the idea of not streaming at all while I was in Arizona, just because it was going to be difficult for me. But you guys have really shown up, and it's been nice. absolutely nothing about, like, I don't know how many of you guys have experienced moving out of your parents' place and then going back to visit, but there's this kind of weird thing where you go back home, quote unquote home, and you kind of don't have anything to do, and you're kind of almost demoted back to like whoever you were when you lived with your parents, where you're just kind of like, well, I guess we'll just hang out in the house. I don't know what else to do. And so the past week has been weird because I haven't had any of my things. Right, quarantine is not easy, but it's a lot easier. I can tell you when I have all of my studio equipment, I can like work on things, and I have my restaurants I like eating at. I have my smoothie. I haven't had a smoothie at all this week, and so yeah, it's been rough. I also haven't been working out. I feel like I'm just wasting away. So it's been rough, but I think that you guys have supplied a little bit of a goodbye, Biz. You guys have supplied a little bit of a restored routine or familiarity during my time in Arizona. So I do appreciate that, guys. Um, Again, no stream tomorrow morning, so you guys are off the hook. You guys are not beholden to me tomorrow morning, and I will let you guys know via probably Instagram if the car is fixed, and I will be home in time for the production stream in the afternoon tomorrow. However, if the car is not fixed, I guess I'll let you guys know that throughout Instagram somehow as well. But this has been nice. This is the keeping the morning routine in the stream has been keeping me sane while I'm out here. So thank you guys for that. I want to thank you guys for being. Oh no! I want to thank you guys for listening to Quick Dream, and Ego Dream. Goodbye, Kiwi. Thank you for being in the stream. I hope you enjoy your time at work. Thank you guys for supporting Quick Breath and Ego Death. I do really appreciate that. I worked really hard on those bodies of work. If you are somebody in the stream who has not heard them yet, they can be found on Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon MP3, Tidal, Group, Deezer, Pandora, Napster, and YouTube. So go check those out if you ever get a chance. Quick Dream, Ego Dream. I like quick with two C's. I like that. Why do I like that? I don't like it when anybody does it with any other word, like thick and stuff like that, but for some reason with quick it looks cool. I'm glad you can keep the streams going, both for your sake and more selfishly for us. Yeah. I'm glad that you guys are able to appreciate them. As far as the other type of news, guys, I'm not even home. The only type of news I want is to try to get back to my place and sleep in my bed. I miss my bed. Oh yeah, I gotta hug my TV. I'm gonna sleep in my bed. I'm gonna do some pull-ups. I'm gonna eat a smoothie. I'm gonna chill and loiter on my stoop outside and point and laugh at things. I'm gonna hug Tamale Man. Oh boy. Yeah. I'll let you guys know if I can't get out of here. I guess we're gonna have another week of Arizona streams. Jesus Christ, I'm gonna have to get inventive because this has been wild. That's all the news. This song is called. The song might actually sound good on the sound. Thanks, Cyber. This is sick. It's a sick sound. Thanks, Cyber. Wow. It's called New Age Pad. Something about it. Okay, everyone have a thirsty Thursday, especially if you're in the desert. Yeah, I've been super hydrated. I did get Whataburger, though. And I did get Bahama Bucks. I love Bahama Bucks. You know, I'm trying to be optimistic, guys. There are some things in Arizona that I have missed while I was in LA. Most of them are food. let's be real, all of them are food. So I have been eating the things that I haven't had in LA. Also, all these things are very unhealthy, so I am feeling kind of weird. But Easy has one question before we leave. Easy lay it on me, please. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Sound effects. Go, go. I just realized there's a sound effect button. I'm sorry. There it is. Those are just the same sound pitched. I'm not stupid. Oh, they got lazy towards the top of the keyboard. Sorry, Isidora is asking, I've been in the desert, that the sky was pretty wild. Wait. In Arizona, you can watch skies with lots of stars. Yes. It's very starry sky, so that is one of the big pluses. When I was doing the drive cycles for my car at 4 a.m. this morning, I did look up and I was like, yeah, wow. Like, I don't even mean some stars. Like, it looks like it was like taken out of like a NASA photo. Like, the sky in Arizona, unfortunately, a phone camera cannot capture the wildness that is just the Arizona sky. Arizona is a very beautiful place, I will say. It's gorgeous. Like, I mean, it's not the most fun, but it's really, truly a beautiful place. All right, anyway. That sounds like it's out of an arcade game, doesn't it? Well, it sounds gorgeous. It does sound gorgeous, doesn't it, Maddie? Okay, you'd have to do long exposure pick. Yeah, I would. And I'd have to have a tripod or something like that so the phone can stay steady. Which I don't have because it's part of my old stream and it's in my bedroom. Wow, this was only supposed to be 2 days, a 2-day trip. I'm about to close out a whole week out here. Although this is usual. This happened 2 years ago. 2 years ago when I came out here. I also had a similar thing with some car trouble and I got stranded out here, so maybe this is just the continuation of a tradition. I want to thank everybody for being respectful to me, even with the circumstances I know, and polite to each other, which we all appreciate. What happened with your car? I missed that part, says Isidore. I'm just having some car issues. I have to pass an emissions test, and that's why I'm in Arizona, because my car is registered in the state of Arizona. But, yeah, thank you guys for being respectful to me and polite to each other. Always appreciate it. I'm gonna go eat something, and I'm going to play a game, and hopefully fix my car, guys. Wish me luck. Get up! Get up! Get up! Get up! Give up? Get up! Woo! Oh, this is actually kind of sick. I don't really like that sound, but I do like the... Go! Get up! Woo! Yo! Go! Get up! Woo! Yo! Get... Are these royalty free? Can I use these? Get up! Get up! Get up! Woo! Can I use these? This is sick. Woo! Particularly that one. I might take this back with me. I don't know. I might ask my mom if I can take this. No, I'm not a hoarder. I shouldn't. I should leave it here. I'll leave it here, but I may look up these sounds and try to data mine these. Okay, thank you, everybody. I'll hopefully I'll see you for the production stream tomorrow in Los Angeles. If not, check my Instagram for any type of updates. Abo, everybody. That's fine. Oops. Oh, bee.